About proving angle relationships here. So to prove angle relationships, we're going to deal with some stuff that we already know. We're going to use some facts that we already know. But first thing I want to do is I want to prove that vertical angles are congruent. So once again, if you're trying to, I may not have told you this, but if you're trying to prove something, you can't assume that the statement you know is true. Like, you have to prove it through other means. So like here, I'm told that angle 2 and 4 are vertical angles. So I'm going to start with my T. Once again, your first step is always your given, right? So it'd be angle 2 and angle 4 are vert angles. Which, that's not very legible. That's why you listen to me as I talk, right? Hopefully. Anyways, step 2. I am going to use other facts that I know. Well, I know that angle 2 plus angle 1 are, well, technically I have to say this. They are linear pairs. And I know that angle 1 and angle 4 are linear pairs. Remember, a linear pair just means that they are two angles next to each other that make a straight line. Technically, I'm going to go back. So the definition of linear pair says two angles that make up a straight line. So I also know then that I can actually skip straight to this. That angle 2 plus angle 1 equals 180. And that angle 4 plus angle 1 equals 180. Okay, so I'm going to go over here and keep going with my T. I'll try and write smaller here. Well, if two things equal the same thing, using transitive or syllogism, I can put them together. I can say angle 2 plus angle 1 has to equal angle 4 plus angle 1. And now the next part does seem obvious, but you still have to say it. Notice how both parts have angle 1? You have to say that angle 1 equals angle 1. And that is simply a reflexive fact. Okay. And I know I'm running out of room here. I have 2 steps left, I promise. I can then do step 5, which is to subtract, because I can now subtract the angle 1s from up here, making angle 2 equal angle 4. And then, hopefully you know this by now, because we've talked about it a few times, but the last step, I'm going to go very top of the screen, is that angle 2 is congruent to angle 4, and every time we go from equals to congruent, that is just the definition of congruent. Okay, so with angles, you're going to deal a lot with vertical angles. You can add those to your definition sheet if you haven't already. If you haven't, I definitely would, that's for sure. So going again. Don't need that much. We'll do this first. Step 1, you should always know step 1. Step 1 is always to list your given. So angle 1 and angle 4 are linear. I'm just going to write pair. Just going to write a pair. And then I know that angle 3 plus angle 1 equals 180. You have to draw that line in there, but that line, or numbering them, is easier for me to understand, in case you take more than one line. So do something to know they're separate so I can understand that you're separating them. So first thing you always want to do is you want to define the words. So I want to define what linear pair means. Well, linear pair means that two angles equal 180 when they're added together. Okay. Then we can do the same thing we did before. I have two things equaling 180. So what was that reasoning again? Transitive or syllogism? Because if they equal one thing, if they equal the same thing, then I can put them together. So then once again, I have 4 and 4. Once again, I can say angle 1 is equal to angle 1. And that is always a reflexive fact. You can just write reflex, that's fine. So then once again, just like the one before, I can then subtract my angle 1s from this equation over here. Ooh, I broke it. And then once again, you should know the last step by now. Definition congruent. So angle 4 is congruent to angle 3. Okay? So a lot of what we're using is linear pair, vertical angle, stuff like that. The words supplementary and complementary are keywords too. So once again, start with your given. Our pair, angle 2 and 3 are sup. Okay? Step 2, once again, is to define the words. In this case, I'm going to do it twice, so let's define pair. I'm going to be too lazy to write linear pairs. So once again, that means angle 1 plus angle 2 equal 180. And then definition of supplementary means the same thing. So angle 2 and angle 3 equal 180. And then we can do the same thing.
So now that you have a house, you can use Home Code Explorer. Quiet, I'm blasting my
Oh.
Janice, look, I'm in a meeting.
So
Janice, look.
transitive.
It's easy. You just answer some simple questions online.
Because I have two things equaling 180.
You're ruining my workout. Cycling is my passion.
Everything was so fresh in the beginning.
And once again, once I look at that, I have two angle 2s showing.
It cleans away odors and freshens for 1,200 hours. Breathe happy with new Febreze Plug.
Which is once again just a reflex.
Football game. So let's promote our fall travel deal on choicehotels.com like this. Touchdown. Earn a free night when you stay just twice this fall.
Then I can subtract again.
Bada boom. Book now at choicehotels.com.
So then if I subtract, the 2's cancel.
Or see the welcoming bourbon in front of you.
And then once again, I want them to be congruent. I'm out of room. So I'm assuming you can write the last step yourself. So I'm not going to worry about it right now. I know I'm doing these kind of quick, but go slow. See what I'm saying.
The bourbon that's been making
And, you know,
since 1795.
ooh, I didn't want that anyways.
Make some of your own.
You know, you can do this on your own. I have faith in all of you. Okay? Now sometimes
Progress is made.
it's not going to be given to you.
Prefer to pay
Like here, you know, 1 is given still.
but I choose to floor it.
So once again, your second step, and I'm going to write it in purple because it should be right there, top of your mind. If you have congruent,
Hankook Tire.
first thing I want to do is make them equal so I can play with them.
Fresh. We're slingers.
But sometimes you look at a picture, like this one,
Hey, kids.
and it doesn't tell you that these are vertical angles, but you see that they're vertical angles. So you can write
Talked about this, right?
angle 5,
Okay, thank
angle
you.
4,
We've got a big couch that will fit all
vertical,
You could beanbag it if that's more your jazz.
6 and 7, vertical. And that's by definition of vertical. But then you can go once again with definition of vertical. And I might let you just go ahead. And that's only step 3. Why did I write 4? I might just let you skip and go straight to this. But definition of vertical would say that angle 5 is equal to angle 4. And that angle 6 is equal to angle 7. But we're going to look back here at the very beginning. I know that angle 4, I know that's equal to 5, so I can substitute 5 in for 4. So my step 6 is going to be that angle 4 equals, and then I can replace angle 7 with angle 6 because 7 and 6 are equal. Oh, wait, why did I do that? Oh, I didn't want 4, I wanted 5, didn't I? So all I'm doing is replacing 4 and 7 because I don't care about 4 and 7. I want 5 and 6. And so I'm using this to put 5 and 6 into an equation I already know are equal. Which then once again, to finish it off, this would be a substitute, right? Or transitive, either way is fine, or syllogism. I'll let you use that word even though it's not quite correct. And then step 7 is definition congruent. Because I want angle 5 to be congruent to angle 6. Alright, I know I went a little over, but those are 4 quick proofs. We'll do some more practice in class. If you have any questions, email me, ask me in class. We're going to take some time on this too. So have a good evening, and I will see you soon.